Welcome to
3
Memoirs
minutes and we off
Podcast,
to it.
where stories are told to create
How's
lasting
everything?
memories in this digital space that we
Oh,
live in.
not bad,
It's time
man.
to be
That's
creative
good.
and explore the
The dogs
opportunities you
won?
have to enhance the quality of your
Dog,
storytelling and
dogs
to give
won.
you
Won the
time back to
game on
enjoy with
Friday.
family and friends.
Had a quiet Saturday. Probably had a quieter Sunday. So,
Oh, that
yeah, man, life is good. Life is good. No worries, no pressure over here.
peace and quiet. We love that.
Yeah, trying to crank it up. First of the month. It's a Monday. Last month of the year. You know, definitely good time. Definitely good time.
Mm, so,
Street politician, we get street up here. Street,
Breathe.
what up? Street, what up? Quemo, what's up? Lee, what's up? Neil, Clay Barber,
Dang, what up?
you go.
So left field. What up, man?
It's,
Yeah, last
Urban Bite.
JC was goody.
Okay, Daniel, what's happening? Danny, what's up? JC, what's up? Chris. So left field, my man. What's up, bro? Charles in here. Mhm. There's but 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes, guys, and we go.
Anybody suffering from finish line fatigue? We right there.
Ah, we are right there. You ain't lying. Right there. I don't know whether we want to or not. Nothing we want to. I think everybody wants to get on to this 2026, man. 2025 has been interesting.
It has been super interesting to say the least.
2025 has been very interesting.
Go ahead and tweet the room out early.
Yeah, 1 more minute, guys. A little less than 60. There you go. Sorry, Ivan. Minus 60 seconds and we go.
Wow.
I'm in here doing a thing right now, trying to be healthy. End the year strong. So y'all, 10:05. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Meeting. I'm your host, Nick Love. Like me, love me. Follow me right here on Fanbase. We do this call every single Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this app. Shouts out to my man Isaac for providing the platform. Um, as the name of this call implies, we talk about marketing strategies, ideas, concepts, things to get your creative juices flowing for the day, the week, the month, and the remainder of this year. Today is the first, guys. Today is the first of the month. Today is a Monday. It's the last month of the year, and the goal here at this point, hopefully for everybody, is to end this year very, very strong. If y'all hear like noise in the background, that's me in here trying to like do a thing, making eggs and avocado and turkey sausage and doing this like protein and kind of ain't no kind of like getting my 75 hard started early. I didn't want to wait to the top of the year to do so. So that's what y'all hear in the background is me cooking up healthy, hopefully tasty breakfast. We'll see in a minute. Um, luckily I don't have to do this call by myself. I'm joined by some of my smart, amazing, brilliant, funny, handsome, beautiful friends. Where my ladies at? I'm shocked that my girls ain't on here yet. I'm shocked by that. I'm sure they'll tap in soon. But appreciate my guys who are up here now. Gary, as always, Isaac, as always, Street Politician is here. I'm gonna see Street later on today because I'm bringing Big Crit over to New Music Monday tonight. So that'll be a good time to kind of run into my guy as always. Um, and shouts out to everybody that's in the audience, man. Like it's a lot of my favorites are here. So like I said, I shot at y'all earlier with Queen Mo, Paige Barber, Damon, um, Charles from So Left Field, you know, Weeks, Hardman, Katrina, Lee, my people who are always here. Ty, what up? Shouts out to y'all, Danny, Z Music, you know what I'm saying, as always. Before we get rolling, any updates on fan base we need to know about? Isaac? Isaac? Uh-oh.
He got us playing in the background today.
Ah, okay. Weeks, what up, man?
No, you're doing it as
We doing what?
you hear that? You're
No,
supposed to tell everybody to join the camp and all that other stuff, and then come to me, man.
you right. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm tripping. Thank y'all. Um, y'all heard me, man. Couple things. One, join the campfire if you have not joined it already. Top of your screen. That lets you know when we do this call. Alerts you to when we are starting the room. I think I started like maybe a couple seconds late. Might have been a full 10:01 before I got rolling. Um, but yeah, that'll let you know if you have not joined already. And then bottom right hand side of the screen, share the room. Thank you, Isaac. Share the room. I'm about to do that myself. Let everybody know that we're about to get this conversation started. Let me do that now. Yep. Done. Just posted it, tagging a few other people that can jump in the room and get rolling. And yeah, just like that. Now, any updates on fan base we need to know about?
Yeah. So our race closes December 17th. We're about 2 weeks away from the closing.
Yep.
I'm encouraging everybody to tell people to invest for the holidays instead of, since there's this economic downturn, what we're talking about, rather than taking that money and throwing it back into retail companies that said they don't value our money. Let's invest in other businesses and other opportunities, other Black-owned businesses, stuff like that. Next, we announced our Micro Drama partnership. We're going to be distributing Micro Dramas in 2026 on Fanbase, which is really cool. I'm excited about that with Ty Walker and Keisha Perry Walker, I'm sorry. And then our algorithm has been rolled out to more than 50% of the user base. So we have a brand new recommendation algorithm. So it's rolling out slowly, but over 50% of the users on the platform have that algorithm now. So you yourself probably have it. It's just in the Flix feed for now, but it'll roll out to multiple feeds, including the search and the main feed over the next few weeks, because we're rolling it out. And then we announced a partnership with Podstock, which is a Black-owned, people of color stock media site, video and images that are. We're doing a partnership to allow users on Fanbase to be compensated for their content being trained on AI. A lot of these other platforms, they're doing it. I mean, every other platform is doing it, but we want to, offer the opportunity for users that want to opt in to actually get paid from that process, which is cool.
What's the name of the thing?
Podstock. Podstock is the name of the company, but the partnership is going to be done with a lot of other, major, corporations.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Definitely
real
on the
quick.
lookout for that.
Shout out to you, my brother, for taking the first steps to turn this into a digital distribution platform like that. That is exactly what we needed here in the city, especially for all the digital creators, bro. So
we gave you a shout out. We gave you a shout out on the pod, Gary. I don't know if you saw it, but we gave you a shout out on the pod last week because I was like, Gary's the one that told me to talk to Ty. I don't know who Ty Walker is. Ty Walker's a really good a producer. He's produced a lot of different types of stuff. Trigger Warning, Killer Mike. He did the Die Hard series with Kevin Hart. He's done live events with Kai Cenat, a lot of stuff. He has a lot of versatile production experience. And I saw Gary at Retreat upstairs, and I was telling him we were getting the Micro Drama space, and he was like, man, I was like, he started talking about Keisha, and he's like, oh, man, that's like, I need to talk to them. And so it was great that, I had that conversation because I moved on it pretty quickly. Gary was like, you move fast. I was like, I'm not waiting because we were doing it regardless, but I wanted to anchor it with a production partner that could actually be the the production side, like the executive production side, that helps us bring in other partners, other people that want to distribute microdramas too. So this isn't a partnership about like trying to isolate ourselves. I want to build something that, we can distribute our content, because, I want people to remember that not too long ago, all these platforms, including TikTok and Instagram, were like, we don't want DEI, we don't want diversity, we don't want equity, we don't want inclusion. And so, cool, I got it then. We got it. Cool. So that's what we were doing. And so thanks to Gary for that.
Blessings to you, bro.
Oh, love to give Gary a shout out. Was actually kind of inspired by a conversation I had with Tiff the other day. Actually, what was it, yesterday? Like I had it. We were just talking about just in general, right? So y'all know, like I said, we got a retail boycott going on. It started with Target a while back, and now, if you've been following social media, there's a few other companies, apps that are being added to that list of stores, retailers that we should stay away from as as people of color. Um, the economy is in a bit of disarray. I just saw Pinky Cole. It was actually a post from a while back. I don't know why it just kind of popped up on my algorithm, but she had this post where she was saying, "Hey, ain't nothing wrong with your business. Just the economy is down. So a lot of people feeling like my business ain't taking off. I'm failing as an entrepreneur." Her word of advice was like, "Hey, it ain't really necessarily you." You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on right now in the world, and people just don't have it like they used to. I've seen it in my businesses, outside of my day-to-day job, my businesses with my street team, my digital billboard truck, just my other side hustles that I have. Like, I mean, I made significantly less money this year, and it cut into a lot of the extras, a lot of the luxuries, the eating out like I love to do, vacationing with the family, all of that stuff. Like those things really didn't, get off this year. And I've noticed a lot of people just kind of having that same conversation. Um, Politics being what they are, no matter what side you are on, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's being affected by um, just where we are in the economy, just the prices of things going up. That's just what it is. So that being said, what do we do about Christmas? And I mean this from an entrepreneurial standpoint, from a people who are building brands, even large retailers. Some of us work for large retailers, or have worked, or it's just we have kids, we have families. This is the time of the year where you would normally go out and buy all the stuff. But I want to talk about it from a marketing standpoint, right? If you're a retailer, if you're a brand, if you're a business, small business or large, how do you market in this economy, right? Do you kind of carry on with business as usual and just roll out your commercials for the hot new Transformer toy, the furniture sale, do you go about and run those commercials like you always did, or do you do something that is kind of sensitive to the moment, sensitive to what everybody's feeling? Do you lower your prices and just hope to make it up on volume? Like, what do you do in this kind of economy where it's not just, oh, it's just a lower class of people who are just being affected? Seemingly, at least from a narrative standpoint, no matter what channel you watch, whether you're watching Fox News, CNN, your local news, whatever, everybody has been affected here. So it's not just all the poor black people. It ain't just the poor white people. It ain't the lower middle class. Everybody's being affected by this economy and everything that's happening. So what do you do from a marketing standpoint? Do you just carry on and try to ignore it and just run your commercials, run your ads, do your thing, sell your stuff? Or do you adjust your marketing to kind of fit the narrative of what's going on? I want to throw it to the stage first, and then I would love to get the audience involved. So what do y'all think? I'll throw it to the stage first. Go for it.
Good morning, everybody. Well, shit, me personally, I would love to see a pivot. I think this is a perfect opportunity for a lot of us to pivot towards, I think it's called compassionate capitalism or something like that, where you market your company as a people first type of thing, even though you may have products for sale and things of that nature. I think this is a really great time to just acknowledge humanity, acknowledge your humanity, acknowledge how, that, like you said, like your businesses are down, like you haven't been able to, you know, hit the parts of the world that you normally enjoy. You haven't been able to lavish your wife and kids with the things that they enjoy. And you could just assume that others are going through the same thing. I think this is a great time as a you know, a retail space or an entrepreneur to kind of acknowledge that. And you know, I know people usually only do that type of stuff during Thanksgiving. They do giveaways for food and things of that nature, but I would like to see a lot more of that, a lot more moving in the direction of, you know, just helping mankind and just showing empathy. Like I would love to see a lot more empathy. I think if you market via empathy or through empathy or use empathy as your vehicle, um, I think it would be a lot more touching. And you know, who knows if it's effective, you know, from a financial standpoint, but that's what I would love to see.
I mean, that sounds amazing, but we know retailers, brands, especially big businesses, empathy has never really been in part of the marketing plan, right? So, as idealistic as that sound, is that feasible?
I mean, I feel like you got to do a marketing campaign either way. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, it's like, hey, shout out to the holidays, but you know, everybody, boom, boom, boom. I hope y'all make it. Just something simple. Like, hey, man, I hope y'all survive. Like, sheesh.
Yo, that's
But buy
crazy.
our thing. But buy our thing in the meantime.
That's great.
Love. I mean, what do you say? I'd love to hear from you.
My energy has definitely been, you know, like for me, I mean, I'm just my energy has been like the way that the corporations have treated, you know, people of color this year. I think it's your time to really just let them know you're not rocking with them, and I think, you know, that helps. I don't know what they do because it's not only marketing Christmas; it's how do you market to Black people that you're ending all these programs that focus on DEI. So I don't care if it's Target or Amazon or whoever. Like, you know, I think the only people that you know, there are some corporations that have stood firm with they're not getting rid of those things, you know, or whatever. But I don't know because I mean, you know, what can you say? We don't want you, and we don't want to acknowledge you, and we don't want diversity, we don't want equity, we don't want inclusion, but we want your money. Oh well, then shit, we're just, you know, we'll shop with this local businesses, Black owned businesses, things like that for the clothes and the other things that, you know, the items, you know, Black owned businesses for the holidays, and we'll send our money back to our people. That's how I feel about it. 'Cause I'm sure because I really don't know what I'm going to get my family for Christmas other than the things that I can get from like small businesses and stuff like that. Um, you know, because the rest of it is like, no, I'm not spending my money this year at all.
Well, it's funny you brought that up, right? Like, so I think everybody on this call is old enough to remember, like, remember there used to be like a toy of the year, like every year.
Yeah.
Remember there used to be like the Tickle Me Elmo was like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and I'm kind of shocked. I haven't seen that in the last few years. Like, and you know, I've noticed it since I've had, you know, since we had Orion, my youngest daughter. She's 7 now, but there really hasn't been like a this year, right? This is the thing that every kid wants, or every, you know, when my
What about
older
the
daughter was young,
Labubus? Labubus are this year, right? Ain't that Labubu?
yeah, yes, Labubu is kind of the thing.
And then
I'll
And then
concede that.
last year was like Stanley Cups. It was Stanley Cup Mania.
The Stanley Cup. You're right.
Stanley
Now,
Cup
okay,
Mania.
right. Well, funny thing about both of those that you mentioned it. So with both of those items, remember they became so hard to get. Resellers prices popped up, right? Again,
Hmm.
the economy not supporting it, and I can tell you that just from sneaker resellers. I'm a sneaker lover. I buy Jordans, and I'm the sneaker guy, and the sneaker people are really feeling it because they're saying, "Yo, like some of these hot Jordans that are the Black Cats that just came out this past weekend." Um, the shattered backboards that came out about a month or so ago. These things are sitting on the shelves at Foot Locker. That was not a thing a year ago, right? That didn't happen. When the hot shoe came out, it got snapped up.
No camp
Resellers
out.
put the retailers put $100 on top, $200 on top. So a shoe that came out that was $225 was $400, an hour later after they came out because they were sold out. In
Yeesh.
this economy, though, getting the $400 Jordan, getting the $200 Stanley Cup, getting the Labubu, which really don't really cost no real money, but once you get it on the retailers, on the reseller site, the price is quadruple. What is the cheap cheap thing that people can consume that people are willing to go out and get this year? Like, why hasn't somebody rolled out like, hey, here's this thing, considering the economy, right? Here's this $5 toy, $10 toy, $20 item that is the must have for this year. Why hasn't anybody kind of jumped in that realm?
I'm not gonna lie, like I haven't seen anybody get punched, smacked, gut kicked, or anything on Black Friday. Like I haven't seen any Black Friday news. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I mean, I drove by Best Buy. When I'm telling you, they had a whole man. It was just TVs just sitting there. Wasn't nobody really in there like that. I was like, damn, they got all these TVs, and I know they're trying to sell them, but I could tell the energy was not like, because it was I guess it was open before the Cyber Monday, and maybe everybody's shopping online, but physically it wasn't that many people in the store.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause ain't nobody eat. Like, I mean, hell, ain't nobody ate in the past 45 days. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. I mean, hell, like I can't see nobody camping out in front of a store. Like, that's crazy though. Like, no camp out line during the Jordan drop. Like, that's pretty.
No, what's matter of fact, it's funny. There was some Jordans that came out. I just snapped them up at Wish. Tiff was actually in Little 5 Points, and she was like, "Yo," she was just like, "Yo, I'm just stopped by Wish just to kind of see what the line looked like. Just just curious, because we knew some J's that came out. No line. Walked right in the door. She was like, "Oh, what I'm saying? Nick would want these. Y'all got these in his size?" They were like, "Yep, come on in." And then I was like, "Yo," then not only did she get the shoes, she left. And I was like, "Yo, I got this guy at work that I really want to do something for. He's always looked out for me. I want to treat him." I was like, "Can you go back?" And she was like, "Oh shit." So she turns around, she goes in, she's like, "Hey, I'm back. Do y'all happen to have this other size in the shoe?" They was like, "Yep." Wasn't no line. It wasn't no hold up. I mean, I'm talking about walking the door, got him straight off the shelf, no problem. That never happens. It never happens. And it's just an indicator of where the economy is. But again, from a marketing standpoint, what do you do with that? Again, it seems
Blame
like,
the administration.
Yeah. Shout
yeah,
out.
but do you run ads on that and say, "Hey guys, we would love to lower our prices, but we can't"? Do you offer a
They
cheap
got tariffs.
alternative?
They
What do
got
you
all
do?
kind of. I mean, bro, they got bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think so. I mean, hopefully over the next 3 years now, people will really understand how important, who's in office matters and the things that they say that they're going to do. Because I could have sworn, a year ago, we heard that everything was going to get cheaper. Gas prices were going to go down and food prices were going to go down and everything was going to go down, and nothing seems to have gone down. In fact, they seem to have gone up. So it's just the price of politics.
I just want to say shout out to Tiff being able to go in there and snap up 2-3 pairs of Jordans at a time, keeping the economy going on her very own. You know what I'm saying? Shout out.
You're welcome.
That's exactly what happened. That is she ain't lying.
But I think that maybe like this is the time for like family-owned businesses to really promote themselves and their businesses, and since people are really tying into like spending more time with their family, being home more, and like, oh, I would rather spend my money with this small business or this family-owned business or this Black-owned business than like this big corporation. So it's maybe time for them to do, this is the opportunity for them to really cash in on something like that. Or even like if you are selling small products, find a way to slim it down, put it into a bundle, like sell mini versions of it so that you can market towards the people trying to save money, but like they want to spend, but they can't buy your the bigger, larger thing of your stuff. But you can bundle it down to mini versions or what have you.
That's interesting. Like, cause I was wondering, cause y'all are like legitimately the first, family influencers, that I know personally. So it's like, as a family of influencers, like how would y'all want to be marketed to? Like, what kind of stuff? Like, again, like if you have to streamline your budgets, like what kind of stuff is worth taking a family to? Especially, y'all get, you got family in town, just for a few weeks at a time or whatnot. Like, how should they market to you all?
I mean, the
How-
funny thing for us, I'm gonna tell you what's funny. We literally had a family dinner last night where we kind of went through just kind of the current state of things. And I was telling my kids, like, yo, all of that, just giving blindly to y'all. And like I said, I do that out of the kindness of my heart. Just want to be a great dad. When you have it, you want to give it and show, and show the kids how much you love them. And for me, I mean, I consider myself pretty affectionate. I hug my kids and do all that stuff, but I tend to speak with money, right? Like, how much I care about you by the money I spend on you. Um, try to buy nice gifts. I try to do the thing because I'm like, this is how much I care about you. Look, I did this thing. And I know that can be shallow and materialistic at times. But I mean, it comes from a good place. But to be honest with you, it's like, hey, like I'm looking at stuff and saying, I got got 4 daughters. The stuff I'm looking at is like, what can be bought in volume? Or like I said, we looking at Black Friday sales for Cirque du Soleil. We go to Cirque du Soleil every year, but keep in mind, when 6 people go to Cirque du Soleil, that is a $500, $600 night. You know what I'm saying? Depending on that's on the low end. Like the tickets start at 70, $80. Once you add on the fees and all that shit that they be doing with tickets, it's easy 100 and some change, right? You know what I'm saying? Go to Cirque du Soleil. So I'm asking the kids, like, do y'all really like Cirque du Soleil? Before I go do this, because I like to do it and I want to treat y'all. Do y'all care, or just like a thing that daddy's doing just because daddy want to take everybody to it? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, where are the bargains? Because when you're buying for multiple people and you're trying to appease and show love and celebrate multiple people, where are the things that can be bought where everybody feels like they got something cool? Um, what is that? What is that thing? Where's the outing that we can go that's not an arm and a leg? And I honestly, truthfully, in Atlanta, there ain't shit.
Well,
There's a new F1 arcade that's going to open up off Howard Mill, right in Midtown. One of my daughters is an F1 fanatic. I would love to do that, but again, I don't want to just go with her. I want to take everybody. But again, just to even kind of play them games, I'm looking at the prices. Nothing cheap. There's no cheap thing that exists in the world at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing, well, the thing that I've always found interesting, about the way you move is when there ain't shit to do, you kind of create a thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like the daddy daughter candle day dates, and like you've always come up with cool little pop-up ideas. You know what I'm saying? Or like maybe something like that. Like I would pop-ups would be cool, like pop-ups with some sort of experiential,
Love that
effect.
idea. It's a great
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Just I think it's looking for the sales, it's looking for the bargains, it's looking for um it's looking for the things that can be bought in bulk or at volume that you can kind of kick it with. I mean, like I said, I know that, like I said, I do well for myself, so I know I'm able to kind of splurge on a thing here and there. But I can't be honest with you, like I said, the extras were not there this year. This was a pay your bills, you know what I'm saying? Get you some food type of year. This was not the, hey, let's all go to here. Let's all go to there. Let's all do this thing. Especially with, having a daughter that's at Howard. Howard ain't cheap. Howard ain't cheap at all. So, just trying to, ensure that everybody has their needs met. The wants took a bit of a back seat this year, significantly so. You know what I'm saying? Especially in comparison to the years previous. Um,
Nick,
it, well, hold on before you say that. It's 10:30, so Gary, I want to start bringing up people from the audience so they can contribute to the conversation. So, raise your hands if you want to be brought up to the stage, and Gary will start, allowing you guys to contribute to the combo. Who was that? Weeks that was something talk.
Weeks.
yeah, what up, y'all?
What up, bro?
I'm new to it, so I don't have anything per se to contribute to the what you should do or what's an interesting or competitive strategy in this crazy turbulent climate that we in. But what I did do, I was curious last night with me trying to build a portal for Black business culture and travel society. I shared something in the chat. It's a conversation with Chat GPT about how do you brace yourself in a turbulent racial climate like this and paying attention to the groups that particularly are targeting Black businesses progress, so that as you go about your business, if you want to take advantage of the turbulent climate that we are in, how can you safely, confidently, and forcefully take advantage of this turbulent time by being the outlet to, create that inviting environment where, like you said, there are some companies who did stand strong on their principles and things of that nature, with understanding diversity actually strengthened the country as well as probably their individual organizations. So if you guys want to look at that, that's something that you could probably feed off of and, take into consideration, because I definitely want to have the blackness felt on my platform, as it being a travel place where you can book different things like lodging and event ticket sales. I want to build an infrastructure for that. I'm going to John Hope's event this week for the next couple of days, and I realized that the hotel that he invested in downtown at the arena or the stadium is literally the hotel that he's hosting the event at. I was like, that's some player shit right there. But anyway, just check that link out. And I just thought it would be something interesting to contribute to the conversation.
Dope, dope, dope. All right, so we do have a couple people that raised your hands. I did invite you to stage, so please check your notifications. Conrad, welcome to the stage. Tell us where you're calling from, and what would you like to add to the conversation? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I am calling from Florida, and just to kind of piggyback on what the brother was saying, I had a conversation a couple of nights ago, and for a lot of businesses, they're failing right now because they start off in the beginning not understanding the market, not understanding where to find a customer that's going to last the lifetime of the business. We look for customers that are just in a specific area versus understanding that you want to kind of target the biggest customer out there, and that customer that's always going to consistently pay what they're looking for in terms of what kind of products they want, and be able to tailor your business towards that versus kind of sticking to one arena. You want to diversify. You want to be able to put yourself in an arena where you can be able to have a customer that needs multiple different things, and you always have a product that you could sell to them. That's kind of all I wanted to kind of bring to the table this morning.
Blessings. Thank you
Thank
for
you
that.
for letting me up.
Hell yeah, for sure. My pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Queen
So
Mom.
hold on. I want to ask something. I mean, this might be a dumb question, but hey, man, it's my call. I can ask what I want to ask.
This is a safe space. Safe space.
But let me ask y'all something, like, because maybe even speaking to a little bit to his point, when like when you let's just say a brand like Mercedes, or Ferrari, or something really really high end, maybe their customers are not affected per se, but what do you do? What do you do when your whole business is dependent on a certain class of people or a certain type of people having the money and they no longer have it? What happens?
So the main thing is we're dealing in a market right now where we're dealing not even like the consumer level. We're so far down the chain of what the price is going to be by the time we get it. It's ridiculous. You want to focus on cutting out all of the middlemen. There's the distributor, there's the manufacturer, and then there's the government, the person who's actually saying, hey, this country needs XYZ amount of logistics throughout the year for us to maintain taxes, for us to maintain all of these different things. We need roads built. We need all kinds of we need cars manufactured. We need to not manufacture any more gas cars, and we need to focus on EV cars or things of that nature. That would be a mandate that's set down from the government based off of where they're putting funding, and these companies know how to target that, know how to be able to focus on saying, hey, this is actually where the government is going. They're giving discounts, they're giving tax incentives on EV manufacturing and things of that nature. So boom, the company will immediately pivot and switch over to that, and that might deter some of their older customers who are accustomed to a certain lifestyle or a certain type of engine roar, things of that nature. So that's where they get stuck at. But if you're dealing with the individual who is going to be the biggest customer, everybody looks at the government as the government and doesn't look at the government as a big business that's managing hundreds of thousands of different smaller businesses within it, and it gives incentives. It kind of shifts the stage as to where it wants things to go, how it wants the business to grow in itself. So if we look at being able to focus on having the biggest customer that's going to be there for the longevity of our kids, and how can we build a business around that to be able to cut out, like, we're employees that are just doing stuff for companies and not really knowing that the same thing we're doing for a company, we can cut out that company, which is the middleman, and go directly to the person who needs the service and figure out how to be able to provide it to them.
It is. Thank you, bro.
Thank
For
you.
sure. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for.
Blessings. Thank you. Queen Mo, what's goody?
Good morning, y'all. The price point is cool. We gotta remember that we have both sides of the market, and we were talking about high end and regular people. But for the regular people, is we can focus on the mental health, even for the high end. Even when you're selling your products, kind of tweaking your marketing under a caring umbrella. And then we do have a subset of the market that does not have children. So, like they were doing Friendsgiving and stuff like that, people can lean into a little more of that. And what I would love for you guys to do for Christmas is subscribe to me. That'll be just good enough for me, just for 1 month. But doing simple stuff like that, that will not affect people's budget and kind of keep them sub level. I'm just throwing it out there, because I think when we think of Christmas, we're always thinking about the children, but then there are some people that, do want to give, and I'm saying, to others, but it's what to give, and keeping the mental health aspect in mind. That's it. That's
For sure.
Real quick,
Great interest.
I found it interesting. So you said market under a caring umbrella. Is that what you said?
Yes, I did.
What does that look like?
What did that look like? That looks like me. I have my company. I have my Sisters Keeper LLC. It helps mind, body, soul, and spirit. But since I'm in the mental care market, it's easier for me to do that. So say someone goes and wants to buy a pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? Kind of making the market, not like Mariah Carey the other week telling us we got to go buy, but kind of being gentle, more gentle about it. But you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Hey,
That.
I got 2 questions I want to throw out to the room before we go to the next person. One is, do we have anybody on here that has what would be considered like a recession-proof business, right? Or, an economy-proof business? Is anybody in here selling diapers, baby formula, things that, like, it don't matter. It don't matter what's going on. We gotta have it. We gotta buy it. I'm curious as though, do we have any entrepreneurs that are in this room that are like, the thing that I sell or the thing that I do or the place that I work at is like,
Essential.
y'all gonna buy this whether it's $10 or 10 cents. I'm curious about that. Please put that in the chat if you are associated or affiliated with any of those businesses. The second thing I want to ask, and this is kind of piggybacking off of what Queen Moja said, the people in here that have been affected by layoffs, reductions in income, things of that nature, but specifically layoffs or people who are just like out of work, been looking for work for a while. When we talk about this like caring economy, I think I can't remember the word that you used earlier, Gary. I think you like compassionate capitalism. I think that's what you said.
Right.
What is something that people could do for you in this economy? Is it just, hey, give me some money because shit tight? I could definitely use $100 to pay a bill or whatever the case may be. Or is there something that people could offer you? Put it in the chat. I don't know if anybody wants to come up on the stage and discuss it or whatever, but put it in the chat. Is there something that people could do for you this year that would allow you kind of to experience that Christmas feeling, or that feeling that we used to get when we were younger, before we became the givers per se? You know what I'm saying? For on the receiving end, is there anything that could be done for you And if it's money, say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good. But I'm just curious as to people who have been affected like that. Like, what is the thing that you're looking forward to for Christmas, since you may not be in the position to be the giver as you were at one point? You know what I'm saying? So just throw that in the chat.
All right, Nick Love with the Secret Santa drop.
Yeah. What?
Secret Santa on the way.
Who else we got up here, Gary?
Dro, welcome back, my brother. Good morning. What do you have for us?
Good afternoon, guys. I just mainly came to listen. Sorry, coming from Portugal. I'm very interested in what you guys are saying. I think that what Nick has said is quite deep in terms of what do you have to offer in terms of what do you want to see for Christmas. Me, generally, just my family in it, my wife, my kids, and the extended family. Like, I've got family that lives in Portugal, some in Jamaica, some in the United Kingdom as well. So, and Miami as well. So they're all going to come down. But I was just listening to what you guys are saying from the economic side of things in terms of, you know, when you're saying like helping someone out financially and stuff like that. I'm not sure what it was like over there in America, but here in Europe, let's just say the United Kingdom, Chinese people, they used to sell DVDs and stuff all the time here. And people used to laugh at them, talk about, do you want to buy DVD and stuff like that. They all thought it was funny. And they used to they was, you know, saving, and they kept going back to China and sending their money back to China. But the families in China were loyal to them, and they used to keep that money there for them. And then their Christmas is the Spring Festival, isn't it? In February, that's their Christmas, the Light Festival. They all go back in February for the Chinese New Year. So what happens is that everyone is like in Europe working hard, you know, selling DVDs, making shit money. You know what I mean? Like. But what happens is that they do that for so long, the family retains the money back in China. And then when they go back, they meet up with the family and then discuss businesses as well. And under everybody's nose, just because they've done that, they became extremely rich. You see what I'm saying? Like, so they mix the two. Whereas obviously, I think that when we do things, we're a bit individualistic. For example, I live in Portugal, yeah? But that obviously, Portugal is a predominantly white country. And I grew up in the United Kingdom. That's a predominantly white country. And you guys are American. I think at the end of the day, I think Africa has a massive part to play. I know people don't necessarily like that. But being so close to Africa here, they make so many people rich. But they don't make any black people rich. You see what I mean? Because you need to have a basis of where your income's going to come from. Because, yeah, of course, obviously, you're all smart. You can do something yourself. But if the base of your income goes into the American tax system or the Portuguese tax system, eventually that money's going to go. Obviously, it's going to go. And if you do have a business like I did before, you make, if people don't like you, they can set you up a lot. You see what I mean? Like in terms of they can keep doing inspections like they do in America, keep trying to find something eventually that you start losing money through, whether it's like legal suits or like a fake employee that's been brought in by another firm to destroy a company, that sort of thing. So I think it's good that everyone's talking, but I think we all need a base. You see what I mean? Like even my wife, like she's Jamaican, and her family used to send loads of barrels and stuff to the people in Jamaica. But then they took that money, didn't save it, and then some of them start acting like they're better than you and stuff. It's like you have to. Like business is a culture. You see what I mean? Like I heard someone say Mercedes. Mercedes is German. Yeah, Germans are the champions of Europe. Here in Europe, everyone buys German shit all the time. Like we buy Mercedes, we buy the fridges that they make, the microwaves, everything. We buy all that stuff because they had the Second World War because they were broke. You know what I mean? So they were going around killing everybody here. So to keep them calm, everyone buys their stuff. You see what I mean? So, but it's German culture. So that's just all I have to say, really.
Holy shit! Thanks for that.
He threw a tidbit at the end that actually. Can I?
Yes.
Okay, he threw a tidbit in the end about Germans, right? And again, maybe it'd be a dumb question. I'd love to hear y'all answer on it.
No,
But he said, hey, everybody kind of, felt guilty about, what was happening. So people supported and bought shit.
Yes.
Why that don't work for us? Why don't nobody ever be like, I really feel bad about how these black people been done. We should just go buy a bunch of their shit.
No, but but you're right. Yeah, but okay. So basically, after the Second World War is what Japan. Everyone tried to say Japan built back very quickly, innit? But that's because Japan got in America, they got preferential treatment to go into the stock market like Nasdaq, Dow Jones, and shit, so they can make money quickly. Whereas obviously with black people and that, they feel bad for a bit, but then as soon as we start doing well, they get angry with it. You see what I mean? It's a racial thing. Yeah. When we start doing well, we do things in a certain way, they don't want to give no credit. For example, obviously, black Americans are the ones that push black culture all over the world the most. They're the ones that kind of like, make sure that at least we have dignity at the end of the conversation or the end of the day.
Thank you.
Now, no, you are 100%, man. Everyone knows that. Look at what you lot are doing with the boycotts. Everyone's talking about it over here. We're all laughing because all the shops aren't making money. So at the end of the day, it's hilarious. Like, you guys do it, but it's like after that money needs to also, instead of like not go to Target, we should have our own Target. But what it is with us, let's just say, for example, they'll make a legislation like affirmative action, this, and then when we start taking advantage of those things, like the Equalities Act over here, they don't like it, bro. It's as simple as that. They just start getting angry and that, and then, they're not ready for that. You get me? Like, they don't like seeing us do well. They don't. I'm telling you from a Portuguese perspective, I can speak 5 languages. I've been to different places in Europe. They're all the same. They're cool, but when you start making a certain level of money and you start doing things as a black person, they become envious and jealous. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's not even a thing where, like in America, the racism is different there, because here in Portugal and Spain, the racism is a manifestation, because they're so close to Africa. They know how rich Africa is. So what they do is that they tell themselves constantly that they're better. So that means that they have to keep you down from a mentality. It's more spiritual and on a mentality point of view. So it's like they'll work with you, but if you don't, if the black guy, whoever that black guy is or woman, isn't on point, they're not going to make any money. You know what I'm saying? They always try to fuck you over in it, or try to take your money or do whatever in it. So with us, it's just a thing where they always hate it, man. That's it. That's the only thing I can tell you. As much research I've done, like, they just hate him, bro. Like, that's all I can tell you. Even with, like, the Saudis, the Arabs. Why is it, that they kind of like to use Malcolm X when they're in trouble, like Malcolm X, but when it's time to obviously do business in Dubai, they don't really bring no black people up in there. They don't really treat them with respect. You see what I mean? So they're part of that issue as well, and they make a lot of money out of it. So that's what I'm saying, that we need our own basis, because the Chinese, when they have a problem anywhere in the world, they can run back to China. But but we as black people, whenever we have
Where do we go back? Where do we go back to?
that's what I'm trying to say. You have to have a return, because even if you do investment, you got ROI and return on investment. But you need to have that. But a lot of that's based on land as well. You know what I mean? So let's just talk about, for example, if a black Canadian gets in trouble in Canada, he has to use the Canadian system. If I get in trouble in Portugal racially, I have to use the Portuguese system. You're gonna go into a court with people that don't look like you and shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way things work. Even when it comes to opening a business here, the way I have to look at shit constantly, because someone's always trying it, and even after you open it, you're always on your toes, man. Like, there's a lot of African Americans here, and they've come and they've seen it. You know what I mean? Like, so we have to be able to go back to Africa the same way they do. But then African people,
It's a whole other conversation.
I'm saying it like that. Obviously, look, my mum and dad are from Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde. I'm not sure if you heard. They just had a coup the other day. You know what I mean? But basically, I'm just saying it as a blanket statement. For example, let me just say something. Like, basically, where my mum and dad from in Africa.
No, sorry, go ahead, Drew. I was going to wrap you up because I want to get some other people up here. But go ahead. So what's the thing you going to say?
No, I'm just going to say, finish quickly. I'm just going to say, basically, if it was time to do business, let's say Ghana wants to do a business with United States, they could have a thing where they would say, like, the Chinese, where's the Chinese representative? Or where's the black representative that's going to speak to me? You could do things like that, but they don't mind speaking to a blonde white guy and getting the money. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's hard to build bridges and connections in that way.
Oh, okay. Hey, you ended strong. You ended very strong. Shouts out to you. Sheesh.
Hey, Tasha.
Hey,
Hey, Vanny. Welcome back.
Yeah, a lot of people. I'm looking at the chat. A lot of people like, yo, they love a lot of what he was saying. So shouts out to Joe. I love having him on these last few weeks, and his input has been super invaluable to this conversation. I know Tiff spoke earlier. I don't know if the ladies had something they want to chime in on, but I'm just curious as to how this works out. I think that we're going to see some record lows from a retail standpoint. I went out Friday. I didn't go shopping. I actually just kind of was just out and about. And I rode past a lot of the retailers. There was no, like you said, Gary said, I ain't see no, you didn't see it on the news. There were no fights. There were no brawls outside of the Best Buy or Toys R Us. I don't think it was no more. But I mean, like I said, I didn't see massive lines. I didn't see a lot of traffic. I was cruising through the streets like a Sunday morning when school is out, or a weekday when school is out in Atlanta. Like, ain't no traffic, just breathing through. I'm talking about nowhere. I passed Targets and Walmarts and Home Depots, and I was moving around a bit because I was going to the Georgia game, or the Georgia Tech game at Mercedes Benz. And like I said, I didn't see much traffic at all throughout the day, even on the way to the stadium. Like it just wasn't there. So I expect to see numbers down. But what does that look like? Does anybody learn anything from it? Do any retailers learn? Let's say let's just say the retailers are too big to learn in real time, right? What do they do next year? Assuming, let's hope that it doesn't persist. But if we're in the same predicament next year with the boycotts, with the economy, with all of that, do retailers learn anything and say, all right, cool, this year we're going to come with this different strategy? Do you think anybody ever adopts what do you say, compassionate capitalism, or caring, does that even come into play, or business is gonna always be business?
Well, I think, and black ladies, let me know if y'all agree. But I think we need more black women board members. Like, I think that's really the only way, because I think black women are maybe the most compassionate on earth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think if you're gonna do anything, you need to hire some black female board members and publicize that shit heavily, and actually give them some power and some runway.
Gary's pandering. I don't like it.
I love it here.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not mad at it though.
I
I mean, go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I did want to jump in real quick. We are going to see some record lows, and it's going to be for different reasons. I went out on Black Friday. I will never, the first and last time, I will never be doing that again. Although there were a lot of people shopping, nobody was doing big spending, right? From what I observed, there were a lot of people outside, like walking around looking at stuff. But I just remember like people walking out with boxes full of stuff. Like they were bringing little wagons and trailers to carry stuff around. And it just wasn't giving that. It was just high traffic because a lot of people were not at work, right? Even with like the whole Target situation, like the big corporations are feeling it as well, because I really like when I look at the Target swag bag situation, my guess is that they didn't have the money to put anything valuable in that bag. So when the people were waiting outside on lines, they wanted to have this marketing experience. Oh, people are outside of the, waiting for Target to open, and bring that feeling back. But they were very it backfired on them, because once those people open them bags and they see a lip gloss and a pack of Uno cards, they're looking at it like, what the hell? Like, what is this? So yeah, that happened. And I think
Nasty.
even with children, I have a teenager and a little one, and they are just, I don't know. It's because we're either conditioning them to always expect something for Christmas, material things. They're just not caring. Like my kids, they really don't care. They like the experience of family and celebration, but I can get them like a cardboard box, and they're gonna love it. You know what I'm saying? I think the commercialization of Christmas is losing points. Something that I said in the chat, and this might be a hot take, but a lot of people are questioning religion right now because of, the administration, white supremacy and all that stuff. So they're kind of torn with, should I celebrate the holidays or not? And it happened a lot on Thanksgiving. I saw a lot more Happy Indigenous Day as a celebration rather than Thanksgiving. And the marketing of that even increased, because I saw commercials coming out of Native American camps and really explaining what Thanksgiving was. And everybody was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't want to celebrate this holiday anymore. And honestly, I think the same thing is going to happen with Christmas. And if we got 4 more years of this, that makes a big impact on how people are going to spend. Period. Okay,
Let me
bye.
let me ask y'all something. Can Christmas go away? Like,
Never. Nah.
okay, okay. And I
Nah.
asked that just based on what Vanny just said. My kids have been the same way. I asked them last night. We had a dinner. I was asking them like, "Hey, so did anybody make a Christmas list?" Now again, 3 of my girls are older. One of them is, my 7-year-old. But I remember a time where at Thanksgiving, everybody would bring their Toys R Us, Target, the little thing, the little catalogs they send in the mail, the little leaflets they send in the mail with all the sales going on, and we would be talking about it at Thanksgiving, like, "Oh, you going out for Black Friday? Oh, I'm gonna go grab this. I'm gonna go grab that." That was like a topic of conversation at Thanksgiving dinner. I haven't heard that in years. The kids are for sure changing. Like I said, there is no toy that they gotta have. The kids are on their tablets, they're on their phones, so that whole extensive 50 thing Christmas list that I had when I was a kid, like, or that my older daughters had when they were young, like, I'm just not seeing that anymore. So what happens if a few years go by where the kids are not in the quote unquote Christmas spirit, they don't want a whole lot of stuff. There's no big thing that they gotta buy. We done all bought all the TVs. We done did all the stuff. Like, what happens? Does this become Labor Day?
I think
Or
Nick.
does
I think Nick, to your point though, I think we've raised now that we're the parents. I think we're raising more conscious children. So a lot of them don't even really get off into having a million and one things. A lot like my daughter, she's a thrifter now. So like I asked her, what does she want for Christmas? And she was like, Dad, you could probably just give me an iPad. I want an iPad, but it ain't got to be brand new. You can give me a used iPad, as long as it ain't super old. But she's a thrifter now. And so she's a little bit more conscious about how she's spending her money.
Blessings.
So a lot of the kids that we've raised, they just think different than we did. I think a lot of that comes from, even though some of us are more financially more blessed than our parents were, and so our children have benefited more. That's part of it too. Like they get stuff throughout the whole year. So like
for
Christmas
sure?
time come, it's like I got everything. So what do I really
Yep.
want? And so, but again, I think Christmas will never go away. I know for me, my son, we put up our tree November 1st. And that's simply because we wanted to change the environment because of everything that's going on in the world. We just wanted to try to change the atmosphere. And so I think that's just something that Christmas will evolve and change into something else for different people. But just like she was just speaking about Thanksgiving and the Indigenous Day, I fast every Thanksgiving, and I've been doing it for the last 15 years to stand in solidarity with the Indigenous people. So I think it'll evolve as people become more aware and they just grow up a little bit, get a little bit older and more financially wise.
I think it's going to turn into
I
the
think it's
market.
less about money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say again.
I think it's less about money and more about the wants and needs have shifted. Like the psychology behind our wants and needs have changed dramatically.
Yes.
Not because of economy, but because technology. So like kids don't want bikes anymore. So,
Yeah.
they want more technology products. So with the growth of e-commerce happening within the course of the last 5 to 7 years, people are ordering things at home. So people are not out shopping as much as they used to. I would say for my company alone, we've doubled our revenue this month. So I can't say that people aren't shopping and spending money, because we went from making $2 million a month to making $4 million this month alone. And we started our Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales November 14th, right? So now we can start marketing Christmas. We're marketing Christmas later because we're overly advertised too when it comes to not just Christmas, but like, hey, here's your wants and needs. You can have it now. And here's just a sale to get it. And we're not getting into like gifting angles anymore. It's really just like buying for yourself instead of like buying for others. So just the behavior, the psychology behind Christmas is just shifted. Like it's not even about gifting anymore. It's like, dang, I really wanted this, so people are buying more for themselves. And that's just my observation.
Thank you. That was hella smart. The psychology of purchasing things. Thank you for that.
Hello?
Lamar, go for it, my brother. You'll probably be the last
Man,
one. Tell us where you
I
calling
actually
from.
wanted to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually in Atlanta. I'm in
Yo,
Atlanta,
talk to me,
and
brother.
first time within the group too. I just been listening via audio replay, but just like the last sister was saying, I wholeheartedly agree. Because I've been listening to the conversations, just the different thoughts, and I do believe, like the sister was saying, like I see it as a changing of the guard personally. All these brands that everybody was just talking about, all of them started with a person that built something based off a product or service that they offered, and then they scaled, and then it stood the test of time. Now what you have is all these different dynamics where the same thing is happening just in current times, right? Where you have, like I said, the sister before, she went from 2 to 4 million. It was at one point she started with she had to make $100 profit, right? And then nobody know her business. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And we're in an environment where it's so, like, these targets and all these other things, man. I've always seen that as them actually dying out as retail brands and brands as a whole, and they're clawing at anything to stay relevant. And some people will use black experience on the negative side. Some people use it on the positive side. So, for example, the brother over there with Red Lobster saved that entire brand.
Right.
The sister that's the CEO over Xbox, she's saving that. That's Microsoft, right? A division of Microsoft turned to a sister, and she's saving that brand. I've always seen black people as the long-term play. We are the ones who shift culture, as the brother said over there that speaks Portuguese. We're the ones that that make the markets move and shake. We're the ones that have the $1 trillion buying power. We have the strongest voice, and so long term, they will use us, to save their brands. But now it's at a point where technology has grown so much to where, and just business models have grown so much to where if you play it right, in the past you had to spend billions on marketing, to get a return. Now a part of your marketing can be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and you can technically get paid to market your product and service. And on top of that, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if you are visible, you're going to get more people. You know what I mean? I just heard that one white boy, Alex Hermosi, say one of his businesses only had 1,000 people that was technically subscribed to it, but he made $1 million off. That's what it's about now. And I do believe, as far as the retail side for Christmas, it's going to be the same things, but it's just going to be towards more individuals getting up and running. So, like the sister said, we just had a sale, right? She had to sell, her company had to sell. So that means their eyeballs were, it's people that used to be on Target and Gucci and all these other things. Their eyeballs are now on smaller, localized individuals. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And I think that's the
Yeah,
most important part, more than
yeah,
anything.
Agreed.
As
yeah,
the
it
guard
is
is changing.
Well,
for
thank you for
sure. Yeah, it is. So look, it's 11:05. I want to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I appreciate everybody jumping on. This was, you know, another good call. Next week, for certain, we are doing that World Cup call, part two. I really want to do this Christmas call because it's December 1st. I just want to kind of start off, kind of talking holiday talk. But after today, like I said, we are back on World Cup next week. So tell a friend, tell a friend. I know that was a big call a couple weeks ago. And I want to take advantage of that, while we have the opportunity to do so. So next week, World Cup talk, we on that. Um, and like I said, I just want to say thank y'all. Everybody who jumped on today, contribute to the combo, everybody in the chat, everybody in the audience, everybody up on the stage. Appreciate all of y'all. We do this call every single Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this app. Shouts out to Isaac once again. And on Monday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Respect.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for
Gary, I
time.
created my new episode. It's coming for you on Friday.
Send it to me.
I will. I'll send it to you. Bye, y'all.
Peace out. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Memoirs Podcast, where authenticity and storytelling come together to amplify our unique experiences. We truly appreciate you joining us on this journey of shared narratives. Be sure to tune in for our next live session, where we'll continue to explore compelling stories.